Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you all doing? This is Con Ulrich bringing you another Company of Heroes 2 Fight Night. This game today is with a very now common individual in recent weeks. We have Fortune over here playing the forces of the Wehrmacht. And over here in the east, having a nice little spot of tea and crumpets, we have VonAsten playing the British. Now, Fortune has already decided to lock in the Mechanized Assault Doctrine. So, what does VonAsten bring to this particular match? VonAsten does bring himself the Vanguard Operations Regiment, and the Royal Engineer Regiment, and the Mobile Assault Regiment. Now, I am a little bit skeptical of what might be the best opportunity for VonAsten against this particular doctrine right here. If you think about it, I mean, obviously it depends so much more. I don't suspect that we're going to see Vanguard operations. Unless, of course, just like Ultra, I'm going to just try to be crazy and annoying the entire time. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's focus on the game for right now, shall we? So we do have two Grenadiers start with an Engineer coming out for Fortune. He's going to actually just kind of move out centrally, trying to maybe pick off this... not even pick off, excuse me. I thought he was actually going to just dive deep trying to pick up that strategic point, but no, he's just going to sit in the church and be a pain. And then he's going to flee from the church, and he's going to hop right back in as soon as the Tommies get close. No, he's just going to be a pain for right now. That works too. That's fine. Oddly enough, I'm getting a tooltip down here to this that there's actually someone in this building. Not entirely sure why. But we do actually see this Vickers down here in the south. So I can never remember what this thing is actually called, this particular map. But that's okay. It's a very common map, as you can see here. There's also a very kind of common thing, too. You see Fortune... putting barbed wire over here on the eastern side of this particular burnt-out tank, mostly because that's just way too good to deal with stuff like that. He's going all out, though, dude. He's going crazy wire. So that way, any single time there's somebody else around him, he's got perfect flanked opportunities. And, yeah, things are going rather smoothly for him. We also see a very quick mortar coming out. We have actually the infantry company, as well as the mortar, excuse me. But what if it's going on over here? We do see a platoon command post going up ultra quick for VonAsten, less than 3 minutes, less than 2:30 in, which is ultra quick. Which makes you kind of wonder what he might be doing. Maybe he's in a rush in AEC. I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense, though, when you think about it. He's not going to have the fuel for another couple of minutes. Maybe what you might see out of him is, since this is a map with a ton of shot blockers, maybe we'll see like a Bofors like sitting over here in the east. I know some people are going to take me to task for saying that, but you know, Bofors here, or stick a Bofors back here, can still chop suppressive fire all in this area, all up there. Now, we are going to see this mortar starting to unleash its fiery volleys at this trench back here, but that doesn't seem to deter VonAsten at all. Instead, he's going to shift up north, pick up a garrison here, and my guess is pick up this little strategic point, and maybe even do a frustration decap on this fuel. No, he's going to even go a step further than that. He's going to go ultra meta on this level. It does seem like the Grenadiers. Oh, geez, they're going to be one of those annoying things. So we do see a trench kind of fake goes down. And these Grenadiers are just going to sit here, just taking pot shots at this other bro over here with one SMLE. So two taking on one, and the Brits do fall back, but it's not, you know, out of fear. No. They've had better things to do someplace else. We are going to see an ultra deep Grenadier push, and perhaps what might happen here is he's just here to kind of frustrate guys just a little bit, because I'm not sure that's such a great idea. Okay, we have located the fact that now that trench is down, and this mortar is taking a fair amount of firepower from actually these Tommies. So I wonder if they're going to just, you know, ever so slightly rotate that mortar. And they are. They're going to start lofting high explosive ordnance on that tank. But now we do see pretty much a fairly even force composition for both sides. We do notice that there is a couple of territories out of supply, which is basically this fuel in the north, but that's kind of being compounded by the same time by the Germans taking over this say, highway from hell from the Brits themselves. Now, it is worth noting that this Vickers down here is doing a little bit of work, not too much. He's just picking up one kill, kind of force back that Pio squad. These Grenadiers, on the other hand, though, might need to back off pretty darn quick because, well, you know, engineers with Sten guns, you have one bro left. Run, Fortune. Run for your life. But I see what we're going to do instead. He's going to try to hold out just long enough to get this machine gun in the church, because if that goes in there, that's a very frustrating position to kind of deal with. You see him right now, he's trying to just completely and totally suppress. No, he's not. That suppression is not going to go off before he moves these engineers out of the way. Strangely enough, the engineers actually do kind of make it past the mortar without doing anything whatsoever, as Fortune does call on some assault grenadiers. Some people have noted recently to me and a couple of other games that assault grens in their mind are not particularly worth spit. To which I say, early on with the MP40s and the grenade access without having to kind of do any sort of, real effort, I think assault grens would support a very, very decent role in the broad scheme of things. But perhaps other people feel differently. We do notice that although VonAsten is down quite a bit in army supply, he's managed to cap up a fair part of the map. Although right now, I do notice that it is still a 1-to-1 cap. You're going full patriotic on this map. Or maybe full French. I don't know, we'll figure that out at some point. And Fortune is pushing up ultra close to actually to VonAsten's base. So without this AEC, which is finally coming out, these Germans are seizing the map and then some. Or need to watch out because this machine gun right here for the good old Brits there is going to force the mortars to pull back rather swiftly. But these Tommies are going to be for quite a rude surprise, even with the healing pack kind of going out on one set of Tommies. I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't seen... No, we've tacked up to Tech 1, to Battle Phase 1. But we do see a very quick mass retreat coming back after VonAsten's players, troops back over here to home base. Not that's going to do a whole lot to them technically, I mean, think about it right now, but it is a little bit frustrating to them because the distribute medical supplies was going to work and heal those guys back up by the time they got back to the front lines. Unfortunately for them, they took fire from the machine gun just before they could get there. We do see this Grenadier squad over here kind of taking up a little bit of an issue with this other Tommy squad. Infantry section is kind of sitting up here right behind this tank. And interesting enough, you see assault grenadiers are just going to sprint over here trying to take on this Vickers. And I'm going to get there just in time too, so this could be kind of interesting. And we do see both people have actually called in their particular commanders. For VonAsten, it's going to be a mobile assault, so looking forward to seeing that land mattress. And guys, get ready to bid that early land mattress goodbye. It is going to go from 5 CPs to 8 CPs. And although we have these engineers up here roasting and toasting, surprisingly enough, those Brits do find themselves turned away. Probably because they finally noticed that machine gun getting set up over here too. But yes, with the AEC, that machine gun is probably going to want to book it out of there pretty darn quick. And oddly, the first couple of shots from the AEC do absolutely nothing. And there we go, poor guy's atomized instead. And we do notice that the lethal mechanized company has gone up for Fortune, which because you can tell that because that 222 is going to come out. It doesn't necessarily mean that the 222 is going to be able to stand up to that particular piece of, let's say, apparatus of British equipment. But it should be just enough to at least kind of rotate around and frustrate any kind of great designs that the Brits have in the map. We still do see, though, that... Oh, wow, the Grand Squad up here. So while the machine gun has been pushed away and the first 2-2 does come out, another Grand Squad has kind of slotted right back into that position. And with the line of sight bonus, that mortar might be able to be quite a pain. Unfortunately, it may not be so great for these very, very aggressive Grenadiers. And even worse, that first 2-2-2 just takes 2 wallops from the AEC and firmly tells it to go home. However, there is that second 2-2-2 already on the field. And if you want to look out over here to the right-hand side, we do see a mortar pit going down in the southeastern portion of the window here, as well as a fighting position. So maybe perhaps we're going to see the Vickers going to this trench right here with a mortar pit right behind it. It'd be quite painful for the Axis player to deal with. And luckily for the Brit, it does not notice this 2-2-2 does not notice the dive that's opening for him. Then again, considering the way he's taken some fire right there, probably a better thing that he didn't. But he did pick up 2 stars, and he very rapidly loses those 2 stars in death. Such interesting positions being taken right now. Mortar pit and mortar and machine gun and pioneers and the 222 over here in the middle of the field. It's all stuff you would just never expect to see. And where's the secondary mortar going in? Okay, right behind this garrison right here. It might be even easier to protect it with that Vickers. I keep on calling it Maxim, but I know it's not a Maxim, obviously. Wow. But with this mortar going out at the same time too, I'm pretty sure that Fortune can still see it. Let's just turn that fog of war back on for a second. Yes, he can. So I'm not entirely sure what that's going to be accomplishing. It is going to put a lot of pressure onto this house and probably push them away rather quickly. But all the same, having that mortar pit right there is going to immediately start taking fire. You can see right here, the smoke barrage is coming in. But, oh, yeah, wow. A lot of material going out. A lot of ordnance going on. The 222 is going to get forced back by the AEC. And, unfortunately, there's really only these Grenadiers with an LMG on the field right now to kind of be the anti-tank presence. A large portion of that really is just because that pack is just so expensive by comparison. But that does not seem to matter to the Brits. The Brits bring out a 6-pounder instead. And that mortar pit and this AEC, it will force back that machine gun eventually. Although apparently it has AP rounds on it, so the AEC is going to be quite interested in kind of booking it from the field. Fortune, in the meantime, I think he's going to go for what I term to be his patented approach. First of all, he drops a medic bunker in the middle of his base, kind of a standard play right there, and I think he's just kind of looking to hold out until he gets those Stogisis. Save himself. I mentioned this kind of play before, looking to save, what's the word I'm looking for, fuel in the long term. Although these Grenadiers might find themselves beaten up, you do see them retreat with just a tiny bit of health left. And oddly enough, this house continues to be in fairly good shape. Yeah, it's going to take some shots, and you can just hear the constant whistling. And actually, with the addition of the AEC, too, it's going to be eventually the Fortune's going to get pushed back. But until then, 12 minutes into the game, 12 minutes for 12, it's 500 to 400 right now in terms of tickets. And we are noticing a nice little kind of like commando squad of 2 sections kind of slipping up to the north, kind of decap and kind of be a pain. But in the end, that might kind of work out better, honestly, for Fortune than for VonAsten, because that 222 should be able to slide north without too many issues. So the sappers are also putting down some stuff. Let's see, where's that last one? Oh no, apparently he's just repairing things, kind of making things look kind of all spiffy and things like that. And with the additional firepower coming out from that mortar pit, yeah, this church is not long for the world. Neither is the VP bleed to start going on to Fortune in just a moment as well. But where are we in the meantime? There's still no tech up, which I kind of really is a little bit disappointing for me. I really want to see something like, the Panzerwerfer, although it is much less powerful than its OKW counterpart. And there's another land matches actually as an opportunity too, so that's going to make life even more difficult if VonAsten decides to call that in. And unfortunately for the 222, luckily he manages to escape before that shot connects. Unfortunately for these Grenadiers, that mortar pit is much more potent than that AEC.
We're losing a capture point.
There's that land mattress. So I'm guessing perhaps maybe a land mattress hunkered right behind here. We have this against the dive from any kind of vehicle. It's going to be a very, very difficult position to kind of break into. We see right now a 2-to-1 cap in favor of VonAsten. He's got the whole kind of Pac-Man territory set up like this. But they may not last too long, as we do see it. S minefields are going down for Fortune. Which is probably a good thing too, considering the fact that he's losing the control of his fuel up here in the north. And although he's calling in more squads to kind of beef up his ailing roster, his guys are pretty beat up right now. Yeah, 3 squads pulling back to base. Almost fully half of his infantry is running back to base as we speak. Meanwhile, the Brits have themselves kind of hunkered down. Very much as you would kind of expect in the first game, in the first company of heroes that is. It seemed like they were always taking hits. Oof. Oof. Those assault Grens might even go down to this one. A couple of shots. Ooh, they just barely make it out. Unluckily enough for them, that AEC does not decide to dive. What is going to happen, though, is that the Pyos have now successfully set up this entire minefield, which is just going to be so deadly. And it's going to be rare enough that the Brits can move around to the south. You can kind of just seeing these Brits kind of charge up through here and kind of going to bumble right into it. There's a Tyler mine right here. We did see, of course, that a squad just did go down. Believe that was another Grunt squad.
Enemy is taking our territory.
And I'm kind of want to see the push by these engineers. First the Teller mine, and the S mines. So, yeah, the S mine is just shredding those infantry. And honestly, this could be a nice, easy dive to pick up, but he decides to play it cool and cautious just in case. That 6-pounder already rotating down over here to the south. Nice reaction time for VonAsten. And we will probably actually end up seeing a hazard removal kit, is that what it's called? Being pulled out by at least one of these Royal Engineers. The land match is already unleashing its deadly payload. Just dropping rockets to explode this entire S minefield, and that's one of the things that I'm so frustrated by sometimes with the land matches. And I think it's a really good decision made by the developers to beef up the command point cost. I'm not going to say it's going to change the game by itself, but it's very, very frustrating to play against when you really don't have an early what's the term I'm looking for? An early counter to such indirect fire. Where's that 6-pounder now? The 6-pounder's rotated down to the south again, but with the 2 Stugs on the field, as well as this 222, this 6-pounder is not going to be long for this world. He tried to put himself hunkered up right behind this, but Fortune is, oh my gosh, just barely too slow to set it back. And although the AEC is kind of coming up here to be plucky, we are going to notice a second Stug is going to frustrate things quite a bit. And with the addition of the Panzerfaust in the AEC, we might see this other Stug, this newer Stug, rotate up to the north to say hello to its lighter counterpart. At the same time, we do see that these flame, flame more engineers, that's the guys I'm looking for, are backing up just in case, and it might be worth it to watch out for these Panzer Grenadiers. These guys are being charged by this anti-tank gun, going in the wrong direction. So he's going to drop that anti-tank gun pretty quick. And this other squad of Royal Engineers is getting, pegged at the same time as well. So not dark times, but dark-ish times for the British player. It is worth noting that up in the north, he still does have quite the control point. He's grasping quite a bit of the field, as I say, the map. And although there are 2 Stugs on the field and really no comparable, well, at least not nowhere near enough light armor to be utilized by the Brits. First of all, there is a 6-pounder that can be picked back up. And I'm kind of surprised that they haven't just shifted over a couple of Panzer Grenadiers to do so right about now.
Emplacement under attack.
As you do notice, of course, this emplacement being under attack, and this Vickers for some reason is pinging off machine gun rounds
Looking a bit squiffy.
on the Stug. But it is also worth noting that here comes this, okay, they're going to rotate this 6-pounder around. And that Landmaster is just lofting volleys, and he's taken out the one squad of Panzergrens, the ones I had kind of came over here to recrew this 6-pounder. And unfortunately for him, he has not decided to go for that prioritize soon enough. He drops instead. And isn't that just an unfortunate coincidence? So he's going to lose that anti-tank gun in just a moment. So as we do notice that, unfortunately, that anti-tank gun is going to go down. Kind of a very, very unfortunate loss. But at the same time, we do see that mortar pit, which is quite an investment, does get popped as well. Oh, jeez. These Grenadiers are going to just be wrecked by this machine gun fire. Oh, they're going to get suppressed any second now. Ooh, they managed to get a rifle grenade off before that happens, though. Might even be able to pick up this model. Do you model, bro? No, man, I don't even lift. So they do pick up that machine gun, and unfortunately now they're just way too beat up to actually take the weapon for themselves. We're probably going to see that happen right now with these Panzergrens. But with the AEC on the field, it might be better for them to book it. So they're going to finally retreat as quickly as possible. As a Cromwell comes onto the field, a Cromwell infantry tank is now on the field.
Ready to move out.
And so already going for that, of course, for that tank commander. And will this be the end of the AEC? No, it is not. Instead, that Stug does decide to go for the engineer squad instead. As that now cruiser tank kind of comes in, starts pinging off rounds on the assault gun. I don't think it's going to be too good for the Stug over here to the east, at least. Oh, but luckily enough, a target weak point comes out instead, able to kind of just stun any kind of shots coming out from. It's a joke. I missed the what's a joke, but that's okay. It's kind of a stun to kind of stave off that attack by the Cromwell, and for some reason he's now backing it in, trying to show off his driving technique. And apparently there's a little bit of ribbing going on back and forth. Fortune's offended by the idea that VonAsten has decided to go. Not sure why he just did that. Decided to go mortar pit into land mattress. And we are going to notice that this, unfortunately, this Cromwell is cannot talk at the moment. Forgive me, everyone. His effectiveness on the map is going to be rather limited, at least in the near future. I will say yes, that's true, VonAsten, that the mattress isn't a game winner by itself. When you have a mortar pit as well as that AT material. Yes, here we go. Little bit of flame war going on back and forth here, unfortunately. We are going to see another machine gun coming out for the Brit player. So getting back to the land mattress concerns, the land mattress. Actually, I think I was one of the guys who casted that game.
A new engineer section is waiting for orders.
Jeez. It's always so difficult sometimes to watch guys, fire back and forth on some of this stuff. Anyway, what was I trying to say? I was trying to say the land mattress it's not OP necessarily, but I do agree that the cost does need to go up. But in this particular game, the barrages were rather useful. In one particular case, getting rid of the S minefields over here to the south, as you can see right here, the after effects of the land mattress. Oof, and the machine gun does get taken out. But at the same time, the spread on that particular land mattress is a little bit wide.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
It is a little bit wide. Ooh, we do see an entire squad just get crushed. One final survivor, one lone survivor successfully makes it out, but that Cromwell instead just... Oh, I worry sometimes about how amazing crushing is. There's been another... I did miss the whole AEC being lost, but my guess is honestly it was just a very, very kind of common pickup in the face of the machine gun as well as the Stugs, not machine gun, the packs as well as the Stugs. We are going to see, unfortunately, a rather impotent volley, doing honestly really nothing against this Pack 40, and perhaps even seeing the charge of this Panzer Grenadier. Now he knows where that land mattress is, but it's not going to be able to do him any good with these Panzer Granads being forced back. Maybe a dive by these particular Stugs? No, apparently the Stugs are more concerned about taking out this infantry. Which is a little surprising to me because they do not have any kind of access to handheld anti-tank at the moment. Nevertheless, though, this Cromwell's going to get forced back, and the 6-pounder has been recruited by these Royal Engineers, though, too, so it might be worthwhile. Might be worthwhile. That's unfortunate to see. Unfortunately for them, the Royal Engineers do recruit that 6-pounder, but get picked out. And unfortunately, like I said, we're seeing a little bit of a flame war here. 6-pounder does get picked up. That Cromwell right now, in the meantime, is kind of chilling over here on one side. And it's going to get chased around, probably around the map, both by a fair amount here. And there's really no AT left on the field except for that Cromwell, and even then, a 2-to-1 and against is not going to be something he's going to treasure. And with the addition of that pack, I'm not too sure there's a whole lot that can be done for VonAsten, at least in the near future. Might have been a good idea to actually kind of go all the way up to company command post and specialize, trying to pick up that Firefly perhaps. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Instead, we're going to see Fortune just push the Brits back to base as squad after squad is getting dropped, unfortunately.
HQ is under attack.
Meantime, now Fortune does drop down an arty barrage on home base. This is going to be devastating in just a moment. You might see this, probably can see this Royal Engineer squad get dropped at least. Oh, yeah. Alright, guys. I really do kind of wish it had been a little bit more of a... Not, you know... A little more to core in this particular game. So yes, while this awkwardly kind of straggles the way to the finish, we are going to see VonAsten pretty much de facto withdraw. Bringing all his forces back over here to the right-hand side. He is going to get another... actually, oh my gosh, here comes a Tiger onto the field. So, yeah. Yeah, guys, I'm just speechless right now. I understand sometimes being frustrated on both sides, and I understand the idea sometimes that people can kind of go for less than immediately stellar strategies and things like that. But I don't really think there's a reason to be kind of nasty about things, unfortunately. Nevertheless, I will say this was actually an interesting game to watch. Maybe not the best one, but the interesting one at least to watch. Another Cromwell does come out to the field, but with the addition of the Tiger tank, which is slowly straggling its way up to the front, there's not a whole lot that the Stokes and the pack and the Tiger tank can't handle. Looks like this Cromwell's going to be way too outmatched. We're going to find that out in just a couple seconds here. One Stoker is going to pridefully just show its heels. And yes, there we go. Just, yeah. The Tiger tank does kind of blow some holes into this Cromwell over here. We might see one Stoke go down, but one more shot, and there goes one Cromwell. And the Pack 40 apparently has been taken and recrewed, but that might be enough, yes, to take out one of the Stokes. But in one final Vengeance shot, it does take it out in turn. But then the Cromwell takes out the other Stoke. So what we have instead is we have the Tiger and the Cromwell, which is really only going to happen in one particular way. One more volley, and that one salvo does take him out. And although there's an infiltration commandos being taken out to kind of leap over here, we're basically going to see a, I'm going to term it a quit out from VonAsten. Unfortunately, the sync error in my mind is never really kind of anything else but that. Well, like I said, guys, it would have been nice to see a little bit more decor displayed in this game. But for the time being, though, I appreciate you guys checking in to see Fortune bringing forward his OKW and VonAsten bringing forward his British. And maybe next time we'll have more of a level kind of playing field. But that'll be it for me. I'm overcome right now, unfortunately, with a lot of the negativity going on. So I'm going to call it quits for right now, guys. This is Conor signing off. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like what you see, please comment, like, and subscribe below, and I'll see you all again soon. Take it easy.